hope you're not too busy to listen to our stories. We hope you like them all and you don't find them boring. And are you shitting me? Blah!
Okay, so it's episode 7, season 2.
Yeah, season 7, episode
2. What I wanted to do with this episode right out the gate was give some shout outs. Wedo Alvarez, he listens a lot, so I just want to shout out to Wedo. He had a fishing trip recently. Listened to us on his fishing trip. We had Drew, Crew 3, the haul truck driver, who listens to us a lot. I like seeing what he's got to say about the show. Blaine from up north sent us. Did you say you call him a Mountie?
yeah. So he's a Mountie?
What?
I'm sorry. I only turned that camera on. I don't know how to press record.
Oh, okay. It's like this.
So his mic.
Boom. Okay. It's recording. All right.
Makes sense.
And then Thomas Bonilla, he's another one. He's been listening to us since the beginning. Like, Thomas has been probably listening to us, like, the first episode. He was already messaging me telling me how much he liked the show. So I thought that was really cool. I wanted to talk.
And then, I mean, I got, like, Anthony on my crew that listens religiously. And even Sal Wild, he says whenever it comes on live, he watches
Gets
it.
on it.
Yeah,
Huh?
dude.
I'm so surprised that people like it. I'm still shocked that people listen to this because it's really like, when I go back and listen to it, it just sounds like just me and you having a conversation. It doesn't sound like, but I don't really listen to podcasts. Do you listen to podcasts?
No, I watch little clips, little TikTok clips or Facebook clips.
I went through a phase where I listened to podcasts at work. I listened to the Joe Rogan Experience, and for the most part, it's really cool. I really enjoyed. The Destination Reservation podcast was pretty cool. Yeah, and I don't know if they're still going or not. I hope they continue to go. But the Cowboy Coffee podcast is really cool too. And those guys were all from Bylass or that area, the reservation. I mean, just high quality, in my opinion. And then make it a combo. There's some guys I started following on Instagram, but still, like I don't listen to podcasts like. I guess everybody does. I guess it's a huge thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good time killer.
Yeah.
So right. When I listen to some time-killing bullshit, I mean...
It's nonsense. But I always figure, and that's how podcasts work, right? It's just it's like shit that you and I would be talking about regardless. We're just doing it now on a mixer and putting it out on the internet for everybody to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. So you just looked up. So the Don't Have a Cow really did come from The Simpsons?
Yeah, Don't Have a Cow.
It originated with The Simpsons?
It originated with The Simpsons. It's what Wikipedia says, so.
Well, Dude, and what was the other one? Don't Eat Your Shorts? Or no, Eat Your Shorts.
Oh, well, I didn't look that up.
Yeah.
It's Eat My Shorts.
Yeah, Eat My Shorts. He had a few. Like, but he quit saying those things like, so many. He doesn't say them anymore, obviously. There's 33 seasons. There we are, the number again, but 33 seasons of The Simpsons.
I thought there was more.
At least, okay, so let me say it. I saw the 33rd episode on Hulu, so there might be more. But, I mean, still, it's been on.
Like I feel like they're as old as I am.
Well, second grade. That's 1990, I think, is when they came out. It's a long time to keep a relevant running animated show.
Time traveler, man.
Dude, right? They have a lot of weird shit on that show that just kind of like pops up. Like, it almost, like, at first I thought it was funny, and then I started really like, no.
How can you get
so many right
specific on details
unapologetically too? They don't ever announce it. They don't boast about. They just
saw this one clip of this. They like froze frame as they were going through, and it said Ivanka Trump 2028 or something.
When was that episode put out?
Like I don't know.
But before all of this, right?
I think so.
Yeah, they're just weird. It's weird how they just. I don't know, but so also like talking about like Wikipedia or just social media. I mean, a lot of our material for the show comes off social media. I feel like because we see things online, or at least I do, and I'm like, man, I want to talk about this. But I seen there's like a big trend right now with butthole bleach. Have you seen this?
Bleaching buttholes?
Yeah, is that a thing?
We've been talking about that for 10 years at work.
So it's a real fucking thing. Do people really do it?
I don't know, but I mean, joke about it.
Well,
We'd
there's
be like, well, I know that guy bleaches his butthole, so.
well, I seen there's actual product for it, so I was like,
Oh yeah,
dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, where? Why would you do that?
Does it hurt? You think?
It's got to. It's your butthole. Like,
Like, well, if you get bleach on your hand and just let it sit there and go like this, it gets all slimy. You know?
and not only that, but it causes irritation and it itches.
Eventually.
Yeah, and then what, are you gonna put that on your butthole?
Yeah.
And then for what? Like, what? It's not like you can flaunt
It's not
it.
like it's taking the hair off your asshole.
Well, yeah, but I would like threw me off was like, why are you? But for what? Where are you flaunting this?
I mean, if you're fucking narrowing your butthole or like waxing it or anything, I mean, a little bleach probably ain't nothing compared to that pain.
right?
So if you're going that far,
Yeah, I guess you're fucking right. If you're going that, that's what I was thinking too. Like, I went down like my school thought was like, okay, well, there's always a reason why, right? Behind everything there should be a why and there should be an answer. So I was like, I just
trying to get the poop stains off.
But what are you gonna? Well, what are you gonna fucking do with the bleach? But it's okay. So like, if
everybody, it's a neat ass, world right now.
So okay, so it's sexual then.
Oh, it's got to be. Yeah,
it has to be, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's got to be because it's not like you get your hair cut. You can't go to the fucking
have you tasted bleach? It's not that good. So hopefully they.
Well, I imagine they wash it.
I'd hope so.
I don't think it's. But I mean,
does it take like 2 or 3 days before
before you can get your butthole eaten out after bleaching it? I don't know. There's so many questions that were fucking popping up in my head. Like, why would you do this? And then I kept on thinking about the idea. Like, it's not like when you get your hair cut, you can take your hat off later, but you can't exactly show off your butthole hairs at the same time. Who does it? Your barber doesn't do it. I would assume, right?
No, I believe that's something you'd want to do at home.
I don't know. I thought it was. I really thought it was a joke, and then I researched it and I was like, no, this is not a joke. Like people really bleach their butthole hairs.
It's probably a lot of porn.
Dude, I've never seen and never noticed at least.
Well, I don't know about hairs, but they bleach the skin itself, like.
Oh, really? Yeah. So it's not the hairs; it's the butthole itself.
Right, they're trying to bleach the butthole itself.
What?
Why would you want to bleach your hairs?
That's what I'm picturing. I picture hair because when you bleach your hair, right? So what are you gonna do with what are you bleaching your butthole for?
Just taking the brown out.
And making it like blonde or white or
like
whatever,
like a lighter shade.
So people can. So can you dye your butthole any color? Like, can you have like green or?
That's a good question. I bet.
A green butthole, dude.
Get it tattooed. I just get a starfish tattooed on that.
Right, starfish. Oh, buddy, I didn't like it good, but I guess I never. Okay, so it's not hair; it's the butthole itself that they are bleaching. Okay. See, now this is why I like our conversations because I like to know. Like it opens a lot. It opens up my mind.
I gotta know these things.
I have to. I'm so curious. I'm beyond curious. Like, why the fuck are people bleaching their balls? But I guess. But then again, like, I don't know if you're that kind of person that's into anal. Are you really that concerned about what color somebody's butthole is?
Right.
When you get to that part of sex, like if that's where you get to that point, you graduate to anal sex. I don't think like. You even notice. And
I mean, I'm not down there.
I wonder how much butt fucking's done even like in broad daylight or with lights on, right? That doesn't seem like a lights on activity.
I'd love it.
With the lights on?
Yeah, it might hurt a little.
Dude, So are you upset at all that Ariel's black?
Dude, I haven't even really paid attention. I've seen a couple little things about it, and I'm like, I don't even care. Dude, it's not like I'm going to watch it anyway. Like, I have no...
desire to watch. Yeah, it's like, who's gonna... I'm not really... And that's how...
how many times I saw it when I was a kid? Golly, when it first came out.
Right, the redhead.
I'd have to say I was maybe, 6 when it came out. And I
have no idea how old I was.
And,
Just Kiss the Girl's my favorite song on
my foster mother used to go to a casino,
mm-hmm.
and they had like a a little child's area.
They got like a daycare and casinos?
Yeah,
What
dude,
the
I
fuck?
swear to God. I swear to God. So hey, we'd go there all the time, and every day they'd play the same freaking movies, and
So you'd watch The Little Mermaid
Yeah.
at a daycare in a casino?
yeah.
And did you like it? Do you like the movie itself, or?
I mean, I watch it plenty, but I mean,
It's not one of your favorites.
right.
What, you got a favorite
It's
Disney?
it's for kids.
When you were a kid. And which is now like, which we go in full circle now is like, now Ariel's black and everybody's, not everybody, but like, let's just say.
Is it still animated or?
No, it's live action.
Okay.
When I seen the black Ariel, it didn't even I didn't even care. I just thought, oh, they made a live action Little Mermaid. I didn't even think about it, and then I started reading the comments, and boy howdy, are people fucking been out of shape over this. I'm like, there's so many things to be upset about in the world.
You know, okay, well, make another Little Mermaid,
Right.
but it doesn't have to be Ariel. See, they're trying
Oh,
to change
right,
history
I
too.
get, yeah.
So.
No, that's not history, dude. It's the little fucking mermaid.
It's the history of the Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Being, you know, I mean, everybody.
You know what
Everybody
changed?
that's a Disney fan.
Okay, so I'm okay. I'm all right with. I hear what you're saying because I try to look at everything from everybody's point of view, and the people that were like upset about it, they were like,
It doesn't. I don't give a shit either way. Really. I mean, if you're dragging me into it, I'll give you my 2 cents. But
I fucking was when I seen the actual footage of little black girls watching this for the first time and seeing Ariel Black and how happy they were about it. I thought, all right, I'm on their side with this. I don't give a fuck. It does not fucking matter if it makes them happy.
Right.
No. That's just how I think. That's how I thought about it.
That's fine. Like I said, it's a fucking fish lady.
Yeah, it's not fucking real. But it's just one other thing, and it just feels like it's really not. Like, have you heard about this? I think it was in Nebraska. The 38-year-old dude that ran down like the 17-year-old, like a 38-year-old Democrat ran over a 17-year-old Republican.
Yeah.
And I was like, the headlines. I was like, oh man, here we go again. But I actually started reading the story, and I took it a step further. I read the whole story, and I mean, I didn't obtain a lot of it. It was very much like surface information.
Right.
But what I learned was that they knew each other. This wasn't I'm a Republican and you're a Democrat. They got into a fight, and they just happened to be these two different things, and they got fucking wildly out of control, and the fucking dude ran over. And I was even like reading Facebook posts where like the parents of the kid that was ran over was like, we know him. Like, this is not what he would normally. So to me, it wasn't a political issue. There's all psychological issue.
Right. They just didn't like each other.
Right. They didn't. But
it's a 17-year-old
dude,
and
right.
a fucking 30.
Out all fucking line.
Yeah.
The guy deserves everything he gets.
Yeah.
This is not at all. But like, whoever seen this was like, perfect. Here's a Republican. Here's a Democrat. The kid was and I seen so many posts on there. Can you believe this is happening to us? We're getting mowed down now by cars. Like, yeah, but all of you guys coincidentally they're fucked. But you know, it's like all of you guys are fucking idiots that take this to the political level. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter because it's not. It's irrelevant.
It didn't need to go there. It's just like race, and you know, I mean.
It doesn't need exactly. It doesn't
need to fucking be mentioned.
Ever.
As you mention it, you create more fuel. You know.
Absolutely.
Let the fire die out.
Right. Let the guy spend his time in prison because let's mourn the fucking loss of the child who died. Let's fucking address at least like mental health for people at this point. Like, it's got nothing to do with politics. But if they can bring in race, if they can bring in politics, they're gonna fucking do it.
Spin it to their objective.
Exactly. And it's like, so do you remember like that guy's back.
Yeah, well.
Wilbur. I named him. That's Wilbur. He's
Wilbur.
Wilbur. He's a fucking menace in the air. So I was thinking like 90s shows, and I know we talk a lot about the 90s on this show.
Yeah.
We should just call this the 90s show.
We're 90s kids.
We're not kids anymore, but we were 90s kids for sure. So do you have a favorite 90s show?
Like show itself?
Yeah. I had two that I just thought like, man, these shows were both fucking awesome.
Well, crank out one of yours and then I'll crank out one of mine.
Family Matters.
Family Matters, shit,
Dude.
I'll watch that still.
All day, right?
Yeah.
Great fucking show.
Fucking Urkel.
Urkel, dude. Steve Urkel always getting himself in those situations. And then Carl Winslow, the cop.
Yeah, but what's his son's name?
Oh, I forget. I forget the name of the teenage boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget his name. But,
And the situations he'd get into were so mild to today's standards.
Right.
But yet his dad would be like, nope.
yeah, Johnny on the spot.
Nope.
Turn it into an ethical issue.
Right.
And then, and there was my other favorite was Home Improvement. Dude, those are both.
Home Improvement's pretty good.
And you know what I was thinking the other day too, and I was thinking about these two shows that occurred to me.
I always thought that maybe those 3 kids on Home Improvement, the 3 sons,
Yeah.
were the Hansons.
Holy shit.
Think about it. Think about it.
Well, Jonathan Taylor Thomas,
Yeah,
he had his own career, so it doesn't quite fit, but they do resemble each other for sure.
And in the same era,
Right.
like, it's pretty close.
Bop, doop, dap. Yeah, that would have. And they only had Hanson had that one song, and that was it. They never. Well, I mean, they probably put out an album that
I heard they actually got back together.
the Hanson
I
reunion
haven't
tour.
heard nothing about it, but
Well, I'm not going to
maybe
that
they're
show.
bopping still. I don't know.
Bopping somewhere, dude.
Bop.
But the thing that I fucking noticed was that one of those shows is about a black family, and the other show was about a white family. But as a kid, I did not fucking even notice the difference. I didn't give a fuck.
Right.
I did not give a fuck. Carl Winslow to me was just a fucking cool ass cop from Chicago that had to deal with this fucking pesky neighbor, and I loved their situations. I never once thought, oh, it's a black family, like or Home Improvement. Like I never thought, oh, it's a white family. And it's crazy to think that like they've just kind of like they forced this upon our kids now. They make.
Yeah, I mean, in the 90s, I mean,
Yeah, I give a fuck
didn't
less.
even-
Michael Jordan, I didn't think once about fucking Michael Jordan. I just thought him dunking on fools. Like I didn't once think like, oh, what a good black basketball player.
right.
I never thought about it. I just thought he's the best basketball player that ever lived. Him and Larry Bird. But that's what. But it's just crazy. Like, but then when I look like at the '90s, there's like so many fucking. We were so spoiled with shows in the '90s that we have an open platform to talk about them, and we can only come up with 2 because our brains are so oversaturated with the amount of shows were available to us. You remember the TGI Friday or TGIF? So like
Thank
every
God it's Friday, yeah.
but on like, I think it was ABC, they would have like these lists of it would be like Boy Meets World was one of them.
I don't know if it was ABC, but yeah, it's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember Boy Meets World?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
What a gym.
Have you ever seen like any of the behind the scenes on that? Like after like a lot of the co-stars
Yeah.
of that show came out years later just saying Will was very hard to work with.
Really?
Yeah,
What?
because he was a showboater. He wanted and
Nobody got an opportunity other than like Carlton, and he did the dance.
right.
Other than the fucking dance, really, the only thing that came out of that was Will Smith's antics. But did you know he owed? So like when they made this show, like I don't think he was going to be a part of it. Like he was still doing his rap thing. Like
Right.
he wasn't even an actor yet.
Right.
And then like they were interested in him, and he owed the IRS $2.8 million.
God dang.
Yes, over not unpaid taxes from his rap career. So he fucking jumped on this opportunity to be a part of this program. So like he basically worked pro bono for the first 2 years of that fucking show, like so just paying back the fucking IRS with his show.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's crazy to think.
He's learned a lot since then.
I'm sure. Well, he's slapping people on fucking stage, so I don't know how
He's got
much.
that kind of money that, hey, I'll just slap this fucker. I don't care.
I don't know. It kind of humanized him for me seeing that slap, because I held Will Smith on such a pedestal.
Right.
Like fighting aliens and rap dancing and all this shit. Like he was the coolest fucking person, and then he just like lost his cool.
To freaking slap Chris Rock,
Dude, right? Chris Rock's so
over a
cool.
joke because he's a comedian. First of all,
I
so
thought-
what he's up there to do is the fucking
In Will Smith's defense, the joke was not that funny. It wasn't that funny, but it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't warrant
Yeah.
a fucking public shaming like
Yeah,
that.
I
don't.
I
think.
mean, it wasn't that funny. So I mean, that's punishment enough to.
Yeah, have to live with that on live television. and it's crazy to think. Like I remember, there's like 2 times in the last few years where I remember like celebrity news just stops the world. And Tom Hanks getting COVID, remember that was like, everybody's like, oh my God, not Tom Hanks.
And wasn't he in Australia?
Yeah, he was like, he wasn't even in the country. And then Will Smith slapping Chris Rock.
Yeah.
And it just kind of like,
that's all the celebrity news for
me. That's
pandemic.
That's the only 2 times, because I have no idea what's happening. Like even like when the Queen died, like I was so out of sorts about it. I'm so unfucking educated with like English culture. I other than like the Beatles, like I love so much shit about English culture, obviously, like the rock and roll and shit like that. But like I really don't know what's going on with their politics or.
Well, there's no more queen. We have a king now.
And that's it? We don't have a king. They have a king. So
trust me, we're being ruled by a king.
No, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. So, but did you know, so like people were waiting. What they did was they were like, they had her body in the casket. Yeah. And I guess it was like lined with lead and like, for whatever, to preserve the body even longer, which all of this is throwing me for a loop because I'm like,
that's bad for you.
But like, I don't know.
It's like they're trying to keep her in.
At the end of the day, she's still a person. You know, she's just a human, just like everybody else. Right. I mean, she wasn't curing cancer. And like, God bless her heart. I'm not trying to step on any, but like English people's like feelings, like of course mourn the loss, but like to line her coffin with lead because you want to preserve her body.
Well, just like the mummies, you know. I mean, they wanted to preserve their.
That's the mummies, though. Dude, that's like prehistoric. No, not prehistoric, but that's
it's
like
been going
ancient.
It's still been going on,
I guess.
You know?
Did you know that people are waiting in line to see the Queen? Like everything was like 2 hours just to pass in front of her coffin. And it wasn't like to stop and take a photo. And I don't know, but the exact details of it. But people were like staying in line for like 2 hours just to walk in front of this coffin. And there was one guy who lost his fucking mind. He lost his mind standing in line, and he pulled his dick out in like public, and like they chased him into the Thames River, and like he jumped in. It was a big old.
That's what I love about them Europeans. They're not afraid to whip their dick out.
I just think that like it a lot of people see an opportunity.
Like if they caught him, which they probably did.
Yeah, he jumped in the river and they fished him out, I guess.
Like here in the States. You'd have to register as a pedophile. Or
Yeah,
a sex
right.
offender,
No, yeah, no, right.
offender,
That's right. Yeah,
you know?
You can't get caught peeing outside, right?
Well,
I didn't even think about
kids
that.
around, you know. I mean,
well, you shouldn't be pissing around kids, anyways. But, dude, I mean,
what are you trying to say?
Well,
you know, like,
what I'm trying to say is like if
everybody pees.
Yeah, and let's say if me and my kids were in line to do something, and some dude whips his dick out,
Right.
I'm gonna fuck him up.
Right.
Like, but. Do I think that somebody needs to be put on a fucking list?
But what if you can't see it?
So what? Shouldn't have it out. Bottom fucking line. If there's kids around, you shouldn't have it out. But
it'll lose its place in line.
Well, see, those are different details. I didn't hear that. If you had to pee, that's one thing. But having to pee in public's a fucking nightmare. I mean, like
it sucks.
Yeah. Well, especially when you're drunk. I would assume the guy's drunk. You have to be drunk to do something that fucking nuts.
You'd have to be drunk to stand in line that long.
Dude, hell no. I'm not going to waste a buzz standing in line to do anything. Like, I don't give a fuck. 2 hours of your life
wait
drunk?
till everybody's done. But.
Yeah, why don't you just go get in line at the end? If you're going to pay respects. Yeah. I would assume, right? I'm certainly not flashing my fucking dick.
All right.
But I think when people see an opportunity to maybe potentially make history or do something, like they jump all over. And truth be told, I feel like people have been doing this since the beginning of time.
Well, did you hear, did you see that video when Biden was being driven to the services, like his parade came by
for the
Queen.
Yeah, okay. No, I didn't see any of that.
And the guys out there were like, "Fuck Joe Biden."
Yeah, he's not very popular.
He's not popular anywhere.
Well, and we're not going to get political because we're not. But like he's kind of dug himself his own fucking grave at this point. He can't really get anything.
It's bad, man.
It's a bad time, and we're certainly not going to go down that depressing rabbit hole because
it's depressing.
It is.
First of all, it's depressing.
It's fucking horribly depressing. But I wanted to also talk about the movie Boys in the Hood. Do you remember Boys in the Hood?
Yeah.
Dude, what a
They're
fucking
always hard. You know?
Boys. I've never once thought of Boys in the Hood are always hard as having erections ever until you said it like that. The Boys in the Hood are always hard. Fucking rock hard.
Rock hard.
So John Singleton. This was 1991.
91.
91. They made. So John Singleton, he's the director, right? So he's like this young black kid from inner city, like L.A. He knows he's familiar with the area. So it's basically he's making a documentary of sorts about his.
Well, I mean, gang life is.
Especially in L.A.
Yeah.
It's a whole other. Have you ever been to L.A.?
I've been through the airport.
So LAX.
Yeah.
Dude. I had a friend named Alex when I was a kid that he was from Compton. Like that was his. Compton was his neighborhood that he was from, and we went to Long Beach. I don't remember exactly what I was doing in Long Beach, but we were skating in Long Beach, and then he kind of wanted to show me like where he was from. So like we didn't even get into the thick of it, but like he took me to the area, and I was like, dude, fuck.
Got to the edge of it.
Yeah, like, dude, hell no. It's just a different ball game, and you know, like I guess when you're acclimated to that life, it's probably not that big of a deal. But when you're from Safford, Arizona, where you can go to a salsa festival and it's
you
just
don't have to worry about
much
wearing the wrong colors.
anything, right? You could just
you
like
could look like an idiot like me and go anywhere, and people
are not going to shoot your ass.
Yeah.
But I felt it. Like you can feel like the human danger when you're in those areas. But so that guy John Singleton, he made this documentary more or less, and like I don't even think he intended it to be as big as it was, because remember with it came the soundtrack, and it was like Cuba Gooding Jr.'s it was like one of his first roles, and of course
he was young as fuck in it,
dude, and it was dramatic as fuck. That whole movie was like pretty. Lawrence Fishburne was in it. Was it Ice Cube was in it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Ice Cube was in it, and I'm thinking because it's crazy to think that he was also in Friday. So like he did like both sides. Like he did like Boys in the Hood, which was like super fucking serious, and then to flip the script so many years later, maybe like 6 or 7 years later, he did Friday.
Well, yeah, and he also did Anaconda.
And Ice Cube was in Anaconda, the movie.
Yeah,
about the snake.
I believe the original. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, there's already a remake of Anaconda?
Oh,
okay. There's multiple. Okay, it's a franchise.
Yeah,
it's like
it's like 3 of them.
Anacondas. I don't want to say was it Ice Cube that was in it?
Yeah. At the very first one, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he was like he wasn't gonna do. He was just a rapper, like just getting out of like his NWA career.
And he's got movie after movie.
Boom.
After
well, he wasn't gonna be in anything, and everybody was scared to approach him to ask him to be in this movie. And I guess in this documentary I'd watched, it was like a short documentary on YouTube or something. John Singleton's like, oh no, I'll ask him. Like I know him personally, and just walked up to fucking Ice Cube, who's like this NWA gangster. He's like, hey, you want to be in a movie? He's like, yeah. He's like, all right, great. And from there, his career took off because Ice Cube's extremely talented. Like as we've all learned, like as an actor, like as a musician, like he's just an extremely talented guy.
Still doing movies.
Yeah, he's still doing shit. Yeah, like if he's put out music, I'm none the wiser about it. But like it seems like he doesn't even fucking age.
Right.
Dude, Ice Cube's always going to be like...
He's only gotten better, I think, with age.
Right. It's crazy. So in that movie... Whoa. Field goal. That was cool. So in that movie, do you remember...
Plenty more of that where that came from.
That was actually pretty impressive. Do you remember in the movie when Ricky and his friend are walking down the alleyway and it's... Is it Rick? Yeah, Ricky gets shot.
Yeah.
So Ricky gets blasted.
Yeah, the ticket.
Yeah, the ticket, the scratcher ticket. Yeah, they're running through the neighborhood, and then he ends up getting smoked, right, by this guy. And Lloyd Avery II is this guy's real name. The guy that shoots Ricky from the car window, his real name's Lloyd Avery II. But in the movie, he didn't even get a name because he didn't have any real lines. And I want to say in the credits, he's just knucklehead number 2. Didn't even get a fucking name, right? But he's the biggest villain of the movie.
Right.
He's the one that fucking ends up shooting Ricky. Well, after the fucking movie was done and everybody wins all these awards and all this shit happens. This Lloyd Avery the second, lives. He goes and for 10 years lives a real life, like a gangster ass life. He doesn't leave the area. He moves into the Compton area and becomes a gangster. He doesn't do anything much after that in terms of
kind of a famous gangster.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So by really having that movie and him portraying that,
yeah, maybe he got sucked into it. I think.
Well, it kind of gave him that clout,
credibility,
right?
Give him that street cred.
Okay, man.
I'm
here.
I was in Boys, Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
So
they're trying to run the fucking streets.
Well, he actually ended up killing somebody. Almost 10 years later to the day, I want to say, he ended up shooting somebody almost in the exact same fashion that he shot somebody in the movie. So he ends up living in the past, man. He ends up in prison, and so he, like most people that go to prison, they find the Lord, and he becomes Baby Jesus, like DMX, yeah. But he becomes Baby Jesus. That's his new name, right? And there's a whole documentary on YouTube about this. It's wild. This guy fucking just lived this crazy fucking life, and he ended up in a situation where he ended up in prison, and his cellmate was a Satan worshiper, a Satanist, and his name was Satan Christ. Why they would pair these two up in a cell, I don't know. But Lloyd Avery ended up getting murdered by Satan Christ in a Satanist ritual in the jail cell. And
it's nice to practice your religion.
Dude, it's... No, it's not, man. That's horrible. That's a horrible thought. Dude, that's horrible. But
hey,
but he did murder somebody, I don't know.
Right. Eye for an eye, man.
He wouldn't have been in that situation had he never murdered anybody.
He killed somebody, he got killed,
Yeah, but he didn't murder somebody in a Satanist ritual,
In a
I
jail cell.
I could imagine that death's way different than getting shot.
That'd be pretty fucking gruesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to know the details of how.
Well, and you're saying, so this is 1991, Boys in the Hood comes out. What comes out in 1992 that was very stuck with me, one of the best movies in my mind for prison movies. And
what's that?
American Me.
Dude, nobody ever talks about American Me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't ever hear about American Me.
Came out in 1992.
Yeah.
Shortly after.
Really?
Yeah, Boys in the Hood, and it's a lot different than Boys.
Oh, it's totally different, and it's based around Mexicans.
Yeah, it's Americana.
Dude, I was shocked to learn that it was two Mexicans and a white guy that started all that shit.
Right.
Yeah, it's wild, and that movie really does give you a play-by-play of how the whole Mexican American mafia was started
in
the prison system.
Yeah,
dude, what a different life, man. Just a different life.
Yeah, and watching that as a kid, you're like,
yeah, I'm gonna go to prison.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm joining a gang.
And it's
but there's so much sodomy in that fucking.
Yeah, there is a lot of sodomy. I was really shocked about that. Not even just one account. There's 3 or 4 different accounts of sodomy.
Well, when he gets out of prison, remember he hooks up with this chick,
and then immediately tries to butt fuck her.
Well, yeah, they're making out,
Yeah.
and he just fucking
goes straight for it.
Flips her and dicks her like he was in a cell,
Yeah.
He spent that much time in prison, and that's what they're trying to get through your head is that he spent that much fucking time in prison.
That's what he was.
That's
how he was used to having sex.
Right.
Well, because remember he was raped as a kid too, in the juvenile cell, in the juvenile. So that's how he ends up, because he gets raped and then he ends up murdering his raper, and that's how he ends up in the prison system. And then I want to say that there's an Italian mob boss that has a kid in the prison system, and they try to pay to protect him, but they won't pay him. So that the Mexican mob or the gang ends up raping the Italian mob boss's son.
Yeah. Dude,
tons of butt sex in that movie.
Probably why I like it.
A lot of influence. It's just crazy to think about. It's just such a gangster movie to have all this fucking.
That's what I'm saying. It's it's so fucking real
raw.
of the prison system.
No, it's right. Like you almost felt
and
like
back then, dude, there
was no
a
protected-
lot more raping than there is now.
Yeah. Well, sure. I mean, now it's gotten so political in the prison system anymore. You know, like why the fuck, like pedophiles have their own little wing.
Yeah.
You know, dude, that's weird.
Yeah.
But like back then, there was like none of that shit. Like, dude, there was nobody there to protect anybody.
No, just
prison seems scary.
You and you together. And,
Right.
and they do that shit on purpose,
Right.
you know, to fucking see.
Well, the thing, you know,
They probably had bets on the side.
right? See what happens. Let's see who comes out of here alive.
Yeah.
And it's wild to think that like prison used to be something that people feared, right?
Right.
Like I don't want to go to fucking prison. I'm gonna get butt fucked and my throat slit, you know, over like ramen, and it, you know, it's not like they were far off because that kind of shit happened. Anymore, it's like a, you know, from what I understand, it's like they get TVs and
Free
they get
food, free TV, free fucking...
dental care.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even get dental care.
Well, they get better dental care than me because I don't go much.
Well, I mean, the truth is, like, there's a lot of people that don't get dental care on the outs that are free, that have obeyed every law written up, and they don't get dental care. But it's just not as scary anymore. So, and I think that's what the issue. And I don't really want to go down this too far, but you think about like our issue with pedophilia these days is the fact that they know that like at the very end they're protected, and no matter what they violate, they're just going to end up in their little vacation.
Yeah.
It's wild. And I think that's why, like, the vigilante justice that I read about with those cases, I'm like, good.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they fucking deserve.
Oh, yeah.
Getting beat to death.
Oh, I dare you. I fucking dare you cross me, dude.
Well, they're not really humans. Like, and I know there's a lot of people, I don't know, we've gone down we're on a odd topic right now, but
we're sliding down the slope.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, and we're definitely slipping right now. But yeah, so those, and then there was like, so it was Boys in the Hood, and then what was the other? There was like a few good fucking movies that were. Oh, Friday. So dude, Friday was. I watched that movie the other day by myself, or not? I don't know why I said by myself. I had my wife and kids, but like.
You're alone.
It's a really good fucking movie. The soundtrack's cool.
Oh, yeah.
The whole, like, the fact that
I love the original Friday. You know,
yeah, no,
the second's okay.
Yeah.
The third's okay.
It's a sliding scale.
Yeah.
It goes from the best to the worst.
Right.
They're all okay, but the first one's a classic.
Right.
Dude, it's amazing.
It's Thug. You're in the fucking.
You're in the hood, like
you're in the crib shop.
And I was reading that there was like. You see a lot of people in the background of that movie. There's a lot of people in the background.
Yeah, that was.
And they were. I read that there was. The directors asked them, "Hey, can you get out of the shot?" And they said, "Fuck no, this is my neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it." That's why I think it felt so authentic because like L.A. was still happening while they're filming this.
Kids riding bikes.
Yeah, all kind of shit was happening. They were just
tank
like
tops and boxers.
People just fucking hanging out, and they're recording it and filming this movie. You know, I learned though that. Do you remember, the ever famous Bye Felicia? You know.
Yeah.
So that woman, that girl, she has a vegan restaurant in the hood. And after you get your food, when you leave, they ring a bell, bing, and they say bye Felicia. Everybody who walks out the door.
No shit.
Yeah. Just got her own restaurant. She looks pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, considering what her role was in that fucking movie.
Should have said bye.
Yeah, she's like, yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
I mean, and you know, those lines, shit like that, like bye Felicia, like how embedded they are into our culture. We don't even realize it.
A lot of people that say it
don't even know where it come from.
Yeah, right.
I remember I worked with a kid who was like, he was like 20-something years old, and he said, bye, Felicia. And this is the first time I'd ever heard it, like, after, you know, so many, like, it was like decades. I said, what? I said, you like that movie? And like, no, what movie? It's like, you know, bye, Felicia. And then, you know, like, Friday. It's like, no, I've never seen it. It's just something I learned from somebody else or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even realize the connection.
Right.
It's wild.
It's just a saying. It's just live on.
Yeah. And then, you know, it's like we're going through this phase right now, like we have been recently, where like these kids are really into like the 90s, right? So that's the thing. Like these young kids are into the 90s again.
We're cool.
We are cool. The fucking 90s was the best, man. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
90s were good.
The fucking best. But you're seeing a lot of Sublime shirts right now. Are you seeing a lot of Sublime shirts everywhere with kids?
I don't go many places.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my pig doesn't wear one.
That you know of.
That I know of. I only see it about an hour a day. So.
But it's popular, right? And I'm just so curious. Like, is the shirt popular, or is the music popular with the shirt? I don't know, but I do know that I'm seeing.
You know, I mean, my daughter listens to Sublime.
Yeah, but your daughter is also raised by you and Rachel, who are like. But I'm saying, like,
right.
how popular is it?
Rachel's done what, like 5 concerts, 6 concerts.
She's
year.
on tour right now.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
She goes to more concerts than the guys on tour.
Dude, yeah, she goes to more. She goes to more concerts. She's been to more shows in this last year.
She's seen Korn 4 times.
Wow, really? That was my first concert ever.
Yeah.
Korn. What was your first show?
The one you went with me, or what?
No. I went. It was like. No, it was. I forget who I was with. But who was your first show?
I don't know.
You don't remember your first concert?
I don't know, man. I think it was actually the first. It was KF Mayday, I think.
Oh, so it was like a multitude of
yeah,
of
it was
bands.
an all day, and it.
Dude, yeah.
That's a lot of time to drink.
Dude, it is. No, it is.
sun.
It's like a marathon.
Oh.
Do you remember the Vans Warp Tour? Do you remember hearing about those? They were like these they call them the Warp Tour, and they would just be like all these punk bands play. And it's gotten really out of hand. Like if they still do them, they've just gotten really shitty. But like when I was younger, it'd be like all these really cool bands, like the Suicide Machines and like Rancid, and like good bands that I consider good.
Right.
Dropkick Murphys,
Right.
and so I would go watch these shows. I remember the last one I went to was in Houston, Texas, and it was all fucking day. And I had the worst. I ended up staying, for whatever reason, man, like, you know when you got something big coming up and for some reason your brain just like, let's just drink way more than we need to.
Right.
I ended up spending like the whole night, like till 3 a.m, with my neighbor out on my porch just drinking Jack Daniels. Blacked out, vomited, woke up and like, dude, I got to go to the Warp Tour. And I drove by myself to the fucking Warp Tour, dude.
Oh,
like,
fucking.
nasty hangover. I don't even think I had a shirt on. I was just like, fuck it, man. I got to see these bands. And I'm so glad that I did because it was cool. And I was able to sweat a lot out. And I ended up drinking a few more beers just to, like, you know, feel alive.
Right.
You know, but
get a little life in you.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm glad I did it because I saw so many fucking good bands. But like you, I can't remember all of them. I can't, you know, like there's so many bands that play.
And it's hard for me to remember things. You know, I sleep every night, so
You sleep every night, so you forget
so
things.
I forget things overnight, dude. Like,
But things like that don't seem to they don't seem to resonate with you. You know what I mean?
I was gonna use those exact words.
Yeah. You just, you know, like.
I mean, I believe the first KF Mayday, I think the headliner was Offspring.
Awesome.
But I didn't wait to see it.
Oh, you didn't get to see
I
him?
was
fucking too drunk.
Done by like 5 or 6, dude.
Oh, that's the worst.
And I said, fuck it. Rob was with me. And
Yeah, Rob.
I said, hey, dude. Well, he wasn't with me, but he was coming to meet me there. And I said, let's just fucking go to Red Lobster, man, and eat drinks and shit. You know?
You went to Red Lobster, dude. Hammered drunk.
I was too fucking dehydrated out there in the sun, man.
Yeah, it'll end your buzz.
I would have been fucking on the ground.
Yeah, you'd have been a medical emergency.
Yeah. I had to go.
went-
Rachel's used to that because I bailed on the Korn concert too a little early.
Yeah.
You were there.
No, I don't think I was.
It was you and me, Zach, Rachel,
Korn? Mary? Where
Korn
do we
was headlining.
Where do we see him at?
It was in Mesa.
Dude,
We got that tub full of fucking ice. We went floor to floor draining all the ice.
dude,
out of the
okay,
machine.
wait a minute. Hold on now.
Okay,
You're
I'm thinking Korn was was the headliner on that one.
I don't know.
Because I left when they were starting to play.
I want to say that I don't remember that, but I do remember something like that. But I do remember my own case where I also had too much drink. I was going to see the Smashing Pumpkins. They were at KF Mayday, and they're one of my all-time favorite bands.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And I was real excited, and I got too excited is what it was. And I sat through a lot of like mediocre bands. Like there was like the Silver Sun Pickups. They're good, but they're not
Shouldn't
like
have gone so early. Should have just
right. I
stayed.
just should have paid the money to go see the Smashing Pumpkins because I still have never seen them live.
Yeah.
But what happened was I got too drunk, and I ended up falling asleep. And I remember it started to rain, and I pulled a banner off the fence and I burritoed myself in it.
Like this gonna do.
And then, like a homeless person, you know, like up against the fence. And I'll never forget waking up. Like, I passed out completely in a rainstorm. Smashing Pumpkins are playing. I'm assed out. And I remember, like, waking up as they're finishing their last song, like, da-da-bum-ba-da-ba-tss. Like, good night, Tucson, we love you. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And it was just, I was wet. There's, like, all these strangers walking by me.
Yeah, I was pissed,
horrible
man.
fucking nightmare.
Because the headliner, dude, doesn't come on. Like
I know, dude. It's
9
like
hours of music or something.
Before these bands even take the fucking stage.
In May, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's such
in Tucson.
all that wind and heat and that was. I want to say I've been to Unwritten Law with you for sure. In my mind, like I know I've seen Unwritten. There was like somewhere else. Man, maybe it was. We did go to some. Like, no. I'm thinking of me and Mary and Rachel going to Social Distortion, and dude, I got fucking hammered. That's the day we found the meth in the room.
Oh, all right.
But that show was fucking fun, man. I had a great fucking time. But as far as like, stealing or getting ice from the
I wish I was there.
ice cream, dude, I wish you were there too, man. You wouldn't believe it if you'd seen all the shit that was going on. It was crazy. I watched a guy knock himself unfucking conscious because he like ran into the pit and all the beer had slipped on. It was on the ground and he slipped and he fucking went back and hit his head out cold, dude. And so I approached him and I like kneeled next to him and like I rolled him so he wouldn't choke on anything, and he got up and he was fine. But I was like, holy shit. Then I was in the mosh pit, right? And I said, Mary, go get me a beer, please. And she comes back with a fucking plumb full, brand new Guinness, right? And right when she's reaching to me, somebody's elbow hits it. Boom! Knocks it in the air. It's like, fuck. She actually ran back and got me another one, and I chugged the whole fucking thing. Then I made out with her in a mosh pit, and it was like, dude, this is the fucking best day of... There was like some other guy was like, dude, you look like you have the best day of your life. I said, pretty close.
Made out in a mosh pit.
Made out in a mosh pit, drunk as hell off Guinness, flat Guinness. Like that, I didn't have any... Dude, it was a great time. But Mary got too drunk, and she ended up almost falling in a ditch. and she was almost struck by a city bus, too.
Yeah,
like, dude,
yeah, Rachel would love to tell that story.
I wish we can get him on the show, man, talk about it, because I thought for sure my wife was going to die. Like, I thought when she ran out into traffic, she didn't mean to. She was too drunk. She stepped out into traffic like, dude, it's anything could have happened. Right. She could have been fucking pegged. I was like, I'm watching this. I'm just going to watch this. But she managed to cross 4 lanes of city traffic without anything happening. And then immediately almost fell in a ditch.
Power of booze.
Dude, seriously, it gets you in some situations for sure.
Get you in those situations and sometimes out of those situations.
Rarely
you could talk about those situations.
I don't know if booze has ever got me out of a situation that I can think of right now.
Well, I would say the relaxingness that it gives your body. So,
right.
So you take those tumbles because you're drunk, but then as you're taking those tumbles that should fucking paralyze you, they don't. you bounce right back up.
No, I was just going to say, last weekend when we were swimming at the Starner's pool, I thought you were going to break your fucking neck on multiple occasions. When you went down that water slide head first,
just right up.
The support systems that were holding up that water slide, dude, the whole thing was rocking. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, and then you slipped off the diving board, and then you hit your leg, and then like you were going to fall face first onto the concrete, so you did like a side dive to avoid it, and like you dove into the water, the deep end of the water.
That was a warm pool.
Dude, it was warm. Yeah, I thought for sure, man. I was like, dude, he's going to hurt him. I thought
if you would have saw me at Slide Rock when I hit my fucking
head,
dude.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. My elbow, right now
still hurts.
Fine, but like yesterday I was leaning on it, dude, and it started feeling like it's still bruised, like a bone bruise in there.
From that slip still?
Yeah.
After all that time, huh?
I caught myself like
boom.
And I bounced my head off the fucking rock, but it was like, it was so little compared to what it could have been.
Your elbows absorb most of it.
Right.
Had you been holding something, or you probably knocked yourself unconscious, would you say?
I'd be bleeding all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, I missed it all.
Mary was like...
Yeah, I was on that water slide.
Yeah.
And I got out of the fucking water, and Matt and Mary are like, you're not going to believe what just happened. Jason knocked himself unconscious. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, then I heard the story from you. But, when we were leaving, I also seen another kid do the same, or not another kid, but another person do the same thing. I was like, Holy
younger.
shit! Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, this is pretty dangerous, really.
But have you ever knocked yourself unconscious before?
Once.
Yeah.
Once.
When? What happened?
Well, let me think.
Where were you? Because I know one time I did it and it scared the fuck out of me.
I was in Colorado, and we're taking a family vacation, driving in convoy with my uncle and stuff.
Right.
Well, we stopped at a park in Colorado, and my cousins are a lot smaller than me, you know. Like my oldest cousin was only maybe a couple of years younger, but still small to me at the time. They were just chasing me around the park, and then so right in the middle of the park is a restroom area.
Yeah.
You know, with a little like block brick wall this high all the way around.
Like knee high for our listeners who can't see you.
Yeah. For you know, all the shrubs around the bathroom.
Right.
And then you got the roof that hangs over. Well, I run and I jump on that wall, run around it, like run around the building, and then push myself off because my cousins are chasing me, you know.
Right.
Push myself off and I fucking hit the bottom of the roof. Dude, full force. It split my fucking head open, man.
Holy shit! Really?
And we're on vacation. My dad's at the store right now, and the only real adult there is my uncle. And I go up to him like, fuck. Like, I knocked myself out for a few seconds.
Yeah.
And I got up and started running again, and my cousins were like, ha, you're bleeding. And it's like, it got real warm, dude.
You're like, oh, it's happening.
It's like, oh, fuck. So I went to my uncle, and he's like, oh, man, I could see your skull. Just fucking with me. You know,
yeah,
but maybe not. But after he said that, dude, I lost my shit, dude. Lost it. I was like, ah! Then my dad pulls up like a few minutes later, and he's like, what's going on, you know? And he takes a look. He's like, all right, we could fix this. He's like, son, do you want to go to the doctor and get your head shaved?
How old are you? Why is he asking you this? How old were you?
I would say I was probably 12.
Oh, okay. I thought, okay. All right. I'd probably do the same thing, right? Okay.
He's like, you want to go get your head shaved, or you want me to try to doctor it up?
Doctor it up.
I said, just fucking doctor it up. I don't want to shave my head.
Yeah, fuck all that.
12,
12, that's it. You know, that's
12.
Yeah. I don't want to shave your head. Fuck all that.
I still got the scar right here. It's long ways.
So it went from ear to ear?
It's only about that long.
Yeah.
Because, but it
fucked you up.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you remember losing consciousness? Do you remember coming to?
I remember coming to, and it was just like, it seemed split second.
Yeah.
And, yeah, like, that was the only time I knocked myself out.
Did you feel like...
I don't remember ever being knocked out unless I, drug-wise or...
Yeah, or like a fight or something. I remember I was standing in the back of Brent Barker's truck. We were out the reservoirs, and I was hammered drunk. Fucking hammered. So I'm standing up on the backside of his cab, like yelling at somebody, like, let's go. Like, everybody's getting in the truck to leave. And I'm like, that's what. And he fucking punched the gas. And went from a standing position, went back and hit my head fucking out. I mean, in true reality, I probably should have seen a doctor. Because that's quite the fall. But, I mean, when you're young like that, dude, you just carry on.
Yeah.
Dude, we got beers to drink. You know what I mean? Like, we got girls to chase. I don't got all time. For all that fucking shit.
It's a lot of time in a doctor.
Right, yeah.
2 hours? Fuck that.
Well, did I tell you about the time that I broke my leg in front? I don't know if I've ever talked about it on the show, but the time I broke my leg in the parking lot of Bricks with Barker, coincidentally, and...
Bricks?
Yeah, Bricks. It was Jim. It was me and Jim and Barker.
Oh, yeah.
And that dude, some guy wanted to... he just came up to...
You like mid-20s.
Yeah. It's just before our paths crossed again heavily.
Right.
And I was at the bar. Dude, it had snowed that day. So me and Jim, it had snowed the night before and snowed most of the morning. So Jim came over and he's like in his truck and he's like, hey, let's go drive around and drink beers and play in the snow. So dude, who the fuck is going to say no to that? So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And it was like 9 a.m. and we didn't stop drinking. Like I didn't stop drinking until like I had to, till my body wouldn't allow it anymore. And the night ended at Bricks. And I was like this, like a bar stool. I'm sitting on a stool, and I'm barely supporting myself. They probably should have kicked me out, but the guy sitting next to me was like, he's seen it, and he came and sat next to me, complete stranger, someone I've never met before, I don't think. I want to say I ran into him. I vaguely remember him, but like not a first name basis whatsoever. But he drops the N-bomb. Like, not in the street way, but like in the super disrespectful way, which is, I was like, man, I said, dude, I don't know who you are really. Like, I fucking hate that word. I don't know, like, what's going on. Are you here with family or friends, or what are you doing next to me? Like, like, if I have to be around people, I'll be around them. But like, if I don't have to be around somebody who's dropping that nonsense when I'm that drunk, the best I can do is like politely ask him, like, can you please just fucking go away? And then he picked up that. He's like, oh, he's irritated. So then he keeps on fucking prodding me, right? And I'm like, dude, I'm too drunk to fight anybody. I'm too drunk to do anything. So Jim caught wind of it. And Jim finally approaches him. And he's like, dude, get the fuck away from my friend. Like, leave. Get the hell out of here. And that guy's, well, fuck you. So this guy and Jim start fucking, they start going back and forth. Well, this guy's got a big fucking scary uncle that's there too. And he's like, so this guy fucking, the uncle and this guy are now talking shit. And then it's like Barker and Jim and half of me. I'm not fucking really in a position to do anything. So now I do remember somebody had bought us shots. And that's the last thing. I remember taking the shot as all this was happening, right? I mean, it was a thick, healthy shot. Good. And they were like, well, let's take this into the fucking parking lot. I'm like, well, here we go. Bar fight parking lot. Like, let's do it. I start walking out the door and I black out.
Perfect timing.
Dude, black out. Like, it's like scene. Close. It's a wrap. Like, I don't remember. I remember coming to, and I was in the parking lot of Bricks, and I'm sitting on my ass, and I'm looking at my feet, and my knees are in the direction they need to be, but one of my right foot is like at a angle, like a 70. I'm like, oh, that doesn't look right. And I reach for it. I'm so drunk, I reach for it, and I correct it. And everybody's like, no. And I've done something else. I heard it. Because, like, when you break, you snap your knuckles over, you can hear shit inside your body. And, yeah, man, what turned out to happen was those guys realized that they didn't want to fight Jim and Barker and got in their car and left. And Jim and Barker started wrestling. And I don't know who won, but I do remember, like, laughing about it because they were slipping.
I remember hearing about it.
Yeah.
And it was.
And so Barker's like, fuck you, Levi, let's me and you wrestle. So I was like, fuck it, I'll wrestle you. I'm blackout now. I don't. These are details from other people. And we locked up, and my foot slid into like a rut from the mud, from all the snow, and then we both came down on my leg and fucking broke that fucking thing.
Right in two.
Dude, it was an ugly fucking break. And so I just sat in. Well, they took me to the emergency room, and then they had to do because when you break a bone, the swelling's got to go down before they can work on it, right? Did you know that? I learned.
I don't know.
I learned that through this, and because I'm such an idiot, I couldn't stay off my foot, right? So tell me, like, all right, once the swelling goes down, we're gonna do surgery on your leg. I was like, okay. Well, I didn't fucking stay off of it. I was still like getting drunk and falling all over the place and pretending like I didn't have a broken leg.
Right. As is tradition.
As is tradition. When you're that young, you're a fucking idiot. So I remember, like, the doctor actually came over to, like, my mom's house, like, hey, your son could potentially have, like, irreversible damage to his foot and nerves if, like, we need to have him, like, stop. And it scared me. It's like, fine, fuck it. You want me to fucking sit here? Fine. So I got like, it was my introduction to Oxycontins. So I just ate a bunch of Oxycontins, and I fucking sat around for like a month. I actually picked up a guitar and started writing music. But anyhow, I don't know, how do we get on this? What are we talking about?
Bar fight, and before that,
I don't remember.
Knocked out. You asked if I
knocked
myself out.
Yeah, lost consciousness. The loss of consciousness.
I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, I don't either.
But
that would I didn't even lose. That's not like when I was thinking about loss of consciousness. That is a story I was going to tell. I was going to talk about the time that I was running on a sidewalk as it was raining. It was real slick, and I slipped and I hit my head and like I knocked myself unconscious, and that scared me. Like it really and I was like young. I was like maybe 12 even. Yeah. And just the idea that like I was capable of knocking myself out. Like I'd never lost consciousness before, so I didn't know like I was like, anything could have happened to me. Like, what if I was unconscious? Like anything, you know, like the idea that I didn't have control over the situation really fucked with me.
Could have been raped.
right. That could have been tarred and feathered, dude.
But it's like for seconds. Too.
Yeah, right.
It's like not even sometimes. Like it just seems.
Boom. You ever see those guys in the UFC that just get fucking knocked out cold, and you think, could you imagine? I always think about that. Like
It's
in
a
the
long hang time for being knocked out.
Right. You get fucking knocked out cold, and then to wake up and the whole crowd's cheering because you got knocked out.
Right.
And you're like, dude, can you imagine that?
Then you get up and say, yeah, give you a show. You like that.
I'd feel horrible.
Yeah.
I would feel fucking horrible if I got knocked out on live television in front of all my family and friends, and then came to.
And everybody's cheering.
Everybody's cheering.
The guy.
God damn.
Oh, man.
Do you remember when we were kids and we had all those forts? Remember we dug a giant hole? Where did we get the buggy top from?
Shit, I thought we used plywood.
No, it was like the top of a Volkswagen Bug.
Really?
Yeah, because there's two different forts, and I don't remember if you were a part heavily on the first one. I know the second one,
Big hole.
Yeah, the big hole.
Yeah.
The first one we got it was like a Volkswagen Bug, and we put it over a hole, and then we got like blankets and covered up like the crevices, and then we just put dirt over it, and it was like a hobbit hole, and hidden by a bunch of mesquite trees, and it was a fucking awesome fort. But like you were saying earlier when we were talking about this, like, how dangerous was all that? Did any of that could have collapsed?
So yeah, on the second one,
Yeah.
it was a bunch of plywood, but we had this hole probably that deep.
Right.
You know, 5 foot at least. And then we had like so many tunnels we were digging out of it, like escape tunnels.
Right.
And if one of those would have collapsed,
That'd have been it, dude.
that would have been it. You couldn't have got one of us out fast enough
Right.
to save us.
And I remember sleeping out there a few times.
Yeah.
Like in a tunnel.
Yeah.
That I dug in this fucking really fragile
Smoking
dirt.
cigarettes.
Yeah,
just
dude, fucking idiots.
Yeah.
But like, do you remember when we had that war? It's like we had like a war going on between forts, and I remember like who was on whose side. But I do remember one time I forgot who the kid was, but he was down in one of those holes, and somebody fucking dropped a log on his head and knocked him unconscious. And that was
Wasn't that Robert Moore that
What
threw
was it?
the log? I think.
Yeah, to see a kid get knocked unconscious for me was kind of uncomfortable.
Might have been me. I don't know. I
don't even remember who got knocked.
It's very bland, but yeah, I mean, things got a little intense.
Well, I don't remember who it was that got knocked unconscious, but it was like the first time I feel like I'd ever seen a dead body. I was like, holy shit.
Dude, we were so resilient back then.
Dude, right. And then, like, whoever it was continued to play war anyways. Like, didn't even, like, wasn't concerned the least bit. Now, I do remember one time we were out there, and I found a gold coin. I don't know if you were there for this, but I found a gold coin. I was like, holy shit. And I showed somebody, and like, dude, look, I found this gold coin. And somebody's like, I found one too. And 4 or 5 kids ended up finding these different coins. They were like these mint. Dude, they were amazing looking. I was like, what the hell? So somebody made the mistake of showing their parents. And their parents called the cops. And sure enough, what I think happened.
Somebody stashed them out there.
Yep, somebody stashed them out there without us knowing, because when they recovered them, so like the cops came back like 2 weeks later and told my parents that these coins were like super rare, reserved. These like, it's a special kind of mint that they developed for the state of Arizona. It was like one of a kind, and there were all these different prototypes of these coins. It actually had currency behind them that they hadn't like put out into like the market. So like we were like, where they even came from, I don't know. But somebody went and stashed them out there, and then we found them.
Where is it, man?
Dude, I had to give them back. There was like 8 of them, and we had.
If there's no victim, then fuck it. If no victim came
right.
forward,
I don't know what happened after that. I don't remember.
that's
like
bullshit, man.
It should be
treasure.
ours, right? Treasure.
It's treasure.
But I do know that like they were very thankful. Like, of course, like, oh, thank you, but really, like, we didn't get anything, like a reward or anything like
thanks,
that.
buddy.
Yeah, I didn't give a fuck.
Little guy.
How much money have you ever found in your life? Like, what's the most amount of money you've ever found?
I think I've came across like maybe $100 bill.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit. Recently?
Not
No, people don't
recently.
come across money anymore because it's like everything's on the cards.
But like when I lived in Nevada, people lose shit all the time.
Yeah, I guess that's true,
Just gotta
huh?
look down. I mean,
You gotta keep your eye on I remember when I was a kid, I was in San Diego at a grocery store with my mom, and I just happened to look down the ground. I found a $20 bill, and it may as well have been $1 million bill.
Right.
I was like, you know what I bought with it? And I was 9. I bought a Thrasher hat from a skate shop. And like, it's crazy to think that like I knew what Thrasher was, like it's a skateboarding magazine, obviously, but like I would have never thought. I wish I would have kept that Thrasher hat in like mint condition, because Thrasher is like, you know, it's not as popular amongst the kids anymore, but it used to be at one point. Like it used to be like a fashion statement,
Right.
like 5 years ago. Like, man, damn, I wish I'd have kept that fucking hat. But yeah, I'm like, finding money it's such a big, it's like such an adrenaline dump.
Then after that, you're looking on the ground. Like,
Yeah.
Tweaking out.
Oh, money.
Yeah, where is it?
$100 though, man. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, and now, you know, I mean, I see how it can happen, because, hell, I think I just had a dream last night about it.
Yeah.
About fucking me pulling, you know, just pulling out something out of my pocket and keep walking, and
Yeah.
guys like, hey, drop this.
Right.
And I look back and it's a wad of cash. I'm like,
Shit. Even in your dream.
yeah,
like,
even in my dream, I'm losing money.
Well, it's you know, and it's like, I guess when you mention it, yeah, like it's so easy to lose, especially back then. Like before credit card, these debit cards took over the world.
That's all there was cash.
Cash, right?
How many times you in and out of your pocket?
All day long. So like you fucking drop, you know, and so like for us kids, coming across even a $1 bill was like, fuck yeah. It didn't happen often, but when it did, man, the Lord was shining bright on you that day. Yeah, I remember.
Lucky day.
My brother Eamon used to work at what's up, Eamon and Roy? I've never given my brother a shout out for some reason on the show. What's up? And my sister Nora. But he used to work somewhere where he got tips, and we were kids. I remember like he'd come home from work, whatever, and he'd throw like $3 or $4 on the ground, and I remember we'd be like, dude, like peasants, dude, like fucking
Chippendales.
throttling each other over fucking $1 or $2. You know, like it's just, but money when you're younger is so different than like money as an adult.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like let's talk about this for 1 second. I actually wanted to ask you about this. Like, how long do you think you would live? What's your life expectancy if you were to be given $10 million right now? What's your life expectancy, truly?
Probably a little longer.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, because I'd be able to afford to buy a couple livers. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you buy a liver?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
How much does a liver go for?
Well, you know, Indonesia.
You'd fly to Indonesia?
Oh yeah. Fucking $5 to 10 grand. Fucking.
Really? And they just put that puppy in you and pull out the other. You can't do this down here in Mexico. You can't do it here in the States.
Yeah. Well, you can. It's just.
In the black market.
Yeah, it's in the black.
They
market
can't do it here in Mount Graham Regional.
Here, you got to be put on a list. They don't like fucking
Drunks.
They don't like people buying them. You know, like.
Why?
Because then it creates a market.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, you gotta wait for someone to fucking die naturally.
Right. Well,
that's your blood type. You know.
How much is a liver? So you said about $5 or 10 grand?
Yeah.
A new liver?
Yeah. So they'd probably kill somebody for a liver for me.
Yeah, that does seem a little dark.
It is dark.
Yeah.
That's a dark web, bro.
So that's what you would do with $10 million?
Oh, well, I'd use up the one I got first.
Yeah.
And then I'd get sober.
I
I'd
couldn't
invest a lot of it. You know?
Yeah. Well, see, that's okay. So that's exactly what I was going to ask. That's exactly what I was going to say. When you ask somebody what they're going to do with $10 million, it always goes straight boring. Well, I would pay off all my bills and I would save it and invest and like,
right.
Fuck all that, dude. Like, you got one fucking life. You got $10 million?
Well,
I'm going to go by the original General Lee.
Think about it. You take $9 million, go fucking invest it. Then you take the other $1 million.
That's all boring talk, that, man.
Then
That's fucking boring talk. Dude, whatever. I'm asking, like, it's like, and that's why the question gets so boring the older you get, because the older you get, the what would you do with the $1 million stories become way fucking less cooler. You know, like, if I had 10 million, like 10 million.
10 million, you can't even buy a cool place anywhere. You know,
you can't buy a cool place with 10 million.
Not where the shit's happening. You know, fucking.
What's happening? Where?
Like Florida.
You want to live in Florida?
No,
California?
I don't.
Fuck those places.
I don't.
Okay.
But that's where rich people go to die. So.
Exactly. Like, why the fuck are you? So you get $10 million. So you, Jason Trudeau, get $10 million, and you're gonna try to flock to California, the state that's burning right now.
Oh no.
Okay.
No.
So you're here.
No, I just build up my place.
There you go. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. Like, so, but like, what the $1 million questions always get, like, the older you get, the more boring the fucking answers get. Like, oh, I would invest, or I would build.
Oh,
you know, this dude.
Believe me, there would be partying. I mean, do you not see
Well,
that in my?
I see that in your future without $10 million. I'm just.
I mean, it's a party now.
But like, what, dude? Okay, so I'd buy the General Lee, the original. Fucking parade that thing around.
Yeah, I mean, why do people get so mad at it, man? It's fucking part of.
Who gets mad at the General Lee?
Because it's fucking got the
Confederate flag
on it.
Dude, it's a Dodge Charger.
Right.
Who gives a fuck?
Right.
Dude, I don't care. Dude, I fucking love that car.
Is badass,
Dude, right. I love the 01, dude, and the orange. I love everything about that car. I'm not a big fan of the Confederate flag. I'm not like condoning it, but dude, it's a part of the fucking car. It's a historical flag. The history is sorted, of course, and we're not going to get into that. Right. But who fucking cares? You know, pirate flags or how much murder and fucking shit's got to move.
It was still an American flag.
Yeah. I don't know.
Think about that.
I'm not thinking about it. I'm thinking about the General Lee. I'm thinking about having $10 million in the General Lee, fucking flying around town.
The original General Lee would probably cost you $1 million.
Yeah, that's $1 million out of 10. Now I got $9 other $1 million. Dude, I don't know. I don't know what I'd do. I'd
buy a copy of the General Lee.
Maybe.
Then I'd have two.
So I mean, I don't get this either. Like, if you have that kind of money, like, I know this kind of contradicts what I was saying, but like, I would just immediately pay off where I live. You're settled. You're camped.
Right.
At this point, this is your base camp.
And it would pay off like the next 50 year in taxes ahead of time.
Exactly.
Fuck it.
Dude, exactly. And then, but that's boring.
But got nothing to worry about if you fucking go broke.
But think about if you think about when I think about all of my like behind you right now, the Old Crow Medicine Show, right? Those are one of my favorite bands. Do you just hire those guys to come play in my backyard? How much do you think it'd cost to get the Old Crow Medicine Show to come play in my backyard?
For a private show, 50 to 100 grand probably.
Fuck it. I got $9 million.
You know,
I got 8 now.
And if you're asking for that, they're gonna be highballing you.
So what?
So yeah.
Fuck it. That's a fucking evening of me and all of my family and friends hanging. That's worth way more than fucking 100 to me. 100,000. You get a.
Somebody asked if we could go cast. I'd be like, looking them up.
Really? If somebody asked to be...
See what their net worth is and what
really?
They're doing.
If anybody asked me to be on a podcast, I'd jump all over.
Well, yeah.
But, I mean, it's got nothing to do with anything other than, like, just the exposure and the fun.
Like,
but
are we going to be lowballed?
Of course we're going to be lowballed.
Of course.
Dude, that's the nature of all the beast.
Yeah.
But, like, for me, like, I don't know, money to me seems... Like, it's obviously important because I got to eat and feed my family and... Buy my beers, but like realistically, it just seems so unimportant to me. Yeah, I don't get money. Just seems.
If there was no beers to buy, it would be totally
worthless. Yeah, it'd be fucking worthless. Like money would be worthless. Like if there wasn't like things to buy that I wanted, you know, like if I really could live off the land, like just feed my family off what I grow and what I fucking, you know, yeah, dude, I don't fucking need any of this shit. I don't need any of this shit. I don't get how people get so hung up on shit stuff. You know,
and everything,
dude. And I was like taking our kids. We were at the Salsa Fest last night, and there's like all these like booths with like all these toys for sale. And I don't even know what was spent, like the dollar amount. Right. Well, I could think it's like every single one of these fucking toys are going to be in the trash can next week,
if not the next day. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like it's just so crazy how like devalued everything is anymore. I don't know. Blows my mind a little bit.
That's why I always get after like. The wife and kids, grandkids. I said, this is all stuff, man.
Yeah, it's stuff.
It's shit, really.
Right.
I mean, can you put it over your back, you know, when you're cold?
Can you eat it? You know? Can you fucking, like, it doesn't fucking matter.
You got so much of it, you don't even know what to play with.
Right, exactly. When you're so oversaturated, and you know when I feel like that the most? Is whenever I'm watching Netflix. When there's so many options to watch stuff, you're just so oversaturated with possibilities or options that it becomes fucking boring. Yeah. Like there's just too many options. So have you ever heard the word sonder before?
Sonder.
Yeah, to sonder.
Like to sonder on down.
So the term is to sonder is to realize or to come to the realization that everybody around you is living as complex of a life as you are, even strangers, right? So
Right.
like everybody everywhere is living their different lives. And do you ever like, so when I didn't know there was a term for that. I do that a lot. But I didn't know there, I just learned that the term for it was to sonder. And I was, I think about how often I think about that, and it's always at airports. When you're at an airport, do you ever sonder? You're just looking around like, where the fuck are all these people going? Where are they coming from? All these people.
Right.
Everybody's congregating in this one fucking
Right.
area. Like,
Where are they from?
where are they going? And I always think that, like, I'm like, all these fucking people in here have like a secret.
How many of these people are going to get on another flight after
Right,
this?
to go where?
To go somewhere else.
And how many people are going somewhere they don't belong? How many people are going somewhere they shouldn't be in the first place? How much is this like a little clandestine trip that they shouldn't even be on? How much of this is business? Who's going to like a funeral for somebody? Who's going to a wedding? It's all these different
Who's
feelings.
going to a girlfriend.
Right,
Yeah.
a mistress.
Yeah,
I think that I'm like, God damn, all these different. And I think like everybody, when I'm in an airport, that's the way my mind starts to turn, and I'm like, everybody in here is insecure. Everybody. Not one of these fucking people, even if you're confident, it's not real confidence. Because even the most confident people in the world are still insecure. They're scared. We're all fucking scared right now. What's going on with Russia and Ukraine, the fucking monetary system of the whole entire world, the weather. Everybody's fucking scared. I don't give a fuck who you are. Everybody's scared. So like when I'm in an airport and I'm like watching people and I'm like, everyone of these fuckers are insecure for their own reasons, of course. Not everybody's scared about the same thing, but everybody, like, people are insecure about.
I'm scared my flight's going to be canceled and I got to sit there another 5 fucking hours. That's
Does that
what I'm
happen to
scared
you?
of. No.
No.
But that's what I'm scared of.
So when you're in an airport, so like you're the one guy that you pass by and you're like, that guy's not scared, but everybody else is.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But
No.
if he's scared of missing his flight.
That's it. But I do, my brain really does go that way, right? But you know who I really, really think about that the most is whenever I'm boarding a plane and I'm on the flight and I'm seeing all these guys running around with those little flashlights on the ground and they're like throwing those they're driving around those like little, luggage buggies and they're like, throwing fucking all this luggage around like it's Monday's trash.
Right.
And I'm like, what stops?
I hope I packed it well enough.
I hope there's nothing fucking valuable on there. And I always think, like, what stops these guys from just going fucking nuts and doing, like, a rooster tail, in the grass in these little luggage buggies, or, like, just getting crazy? Like, these guys got the backstage pass to the whole airport.
Right.
I always think, like, what would stop one of these guys from stowing away on the bottom of an airplane, taking off to another city, and because of whatever they're wearing, just get out and leave. Dude, they live a whole new life.
Right.
But anyhow, the reason I'm bringing up any of this,
It's a good idea.
yeah, right.
It's a really good idea.
Yeah, just get off the plane. You're already wearing what everybody else is wearing. No one's going to stop you.
Yeah, and you're already in the luggage department.
Yeah,
so
just
you find out whatever you want and just
Fucking grab. Yeah, exactly.
my new life.
Here's my new life.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm a doctor now, I guess,
Yeah.
or I'm a fucking EMT or whatever, whatever, police officer. But like that's one of my favorite things to think about is like what happens at an airport, like all these people. And I heard a story about a guy named Richard Russell. Have you heard this story? The Sky King. So in 2018,
Okay, the guy that
stole the airplane.
Yeah.
Dude, so this like all of my thoughts came to life. Like in
It was a small plane.
Yeah, but regardless,
Yeah.
like this guy, normal, no medical history in terms of like
Just had it.
he just not even
He was younger too.
yeah, he was 25, 24. He was a young guy.
Yeah.
And so his fucking thought process was along mine. And I imagine he probably at some point he's like, dude, I got a backstage pass this fucking place. I hate this life. I'm going to go get in a fucking... He steals an airplane. Because he's got all the credentials to get to an airplane that nobody's on. It's just been recently fueled. And he gets on this thing and takes off. Flies, dude. This guy fucking zero.
Yeah,
No experience, no flying hours, nothing. He gets on the runway. He's actually steering this fucking thing down the runway, gets on the fucking to take off, and the flight controller, the flight traffic air control, whatever's calling him, and he won't respond because he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Fuck them. I know what I'm doing.
Probably didn't even have the headphones in.
I know.
At first, he's like, fuck this.
Yep.
What?
Takes off, dude. And he takes off. And so when he gets in the air, then he starts answering his radio. And they're like, come in, whatever it is. I forgot what the name of the airplane was, but the documentary had me on the edge of the seat because I was so interested in what the fuck this guy was doing. Like, dude, this guy's really doing everything I've ever thought of. Like, not that I've ever thought of still an airplane, but like I've always wondered, like, what stops these people from not losing their fucking minds and doing some crazy shit like this?
Just like a worker at McDonald's, Burger King, just lose their fucking shit.
Throw a fucking burger right in someone's face and fucking...
Right. It's no different, really.
Right. No.
You crack.
You crack and you crack.
Yeah.
And that's it, right?
Yeah.
So this guy's in the fucking plane. He's now in the sky. Managed to get this thing off the fucking ground, and air control talks to him, and he's finally answering, and they're like, who is this? And he says, I'm Richard Beeboo Russell. That's what his nickname was, Beeboo. Beeboo Bob. So he's fucking in the air. And they're like, well, why are you doing this? Or how did you do this? You have no credentials. And he said, I just played a couple of video games and learned it from video games. The story behind it was his whole life he wanted to be a pilot. Or not his whole life, but after working in an airport, he wanted to be a pilot. He couldn't afford it. The wages were so low. He didn't have any kids, so he couldn't get any real financial help. He wasn't a minority. All these other issues that happen, So like he just kind of fucking broke. Snap, dude. And he said that over the fucking radio. He said, dude, I don't look, obviously, like, I
made a mistake.
And he said he doesn't care. He had no regret in his voice. You can listen to the recordings. He has no regret in his voice. He's like, this is what I'm going to do. So they're like, well, what's the plan? He's like, I just want to fly around for a little while. The guy was so fucking cool under this pressure.
Right.
He actually vomits. He's like, oh, sorry, I lost my lunch there. This is the first time I've ever flown, so I'm a little nervous. So then they're asking him, they're asking him to land his airplane at it was like a Air Force base there in Washington, because that's where he flew out of. It was a SeaTac, Seattle Tacoma. And he's like, he jokes around. He's like, no, they probably got like air defense missiles are going to shoot me out of the ground. And actually gets the fucking guy in the tower to laugh a little bit. So he's flying now, right? And they're like, well, what are you going to do? So now they got two fighter jets that have intercepted him flying on one side.
Right, you don't know if he's
going to lose his mind and fly it into the Space Needle or
got explosives on.
Right. Nobody knows exactly what he's doing. But he's being pretty clear about it. He's like, I'm not here to hurt anybody. I've got a few screws loose, and I'm just realizing it, and I want to go out on my terms. And they're like, all right, will you land the plane? He's like, no, I don't think I will. I'm going to do a barrel roll first. So, dude, I guess I did research this myself, and I found out that, like, even the most experienced pilots will tell you that, like, doing a barrel roll requires thousands of hours of flight, your ass in the seat time, right? This guy's never been in a plane. He completes the barrel roll in an airplane, and he, like, clears the water, because he does it over a lake, clears the water by 10 feet. And the fighter jet, the pilots that are watching this, they're fucking shocked. They're like, dude, he did it. Like, this fucking guy did it. He did a fucking full barrel roll. And even the guy, Richard Russell's like, holy shit, I didn't think I was actually going to – he's like, I thought that was going to be it. I'm coming. He thought that was going to be it. So he does this barrel roll. He survives it. And then he's like, well, I'm signing off now. And he knew that there was an island that was uninhabited and just crashed it and killed himself. What a legend.
Yeah.
No kids.
I mean,
no, no dependents.
The only thing that keeps people like us from
is
doing
kids.
That is kids, family, if you ain't got that.
But yeah, what the fuck would stop you from just getting fucking buck wild and doing some crazy ass shit?
Been turned down by girls for
he was married.
Years. Oh, wow.
But I mean, the thing is, though, is like he was married. They didn't have any kids, but he from what I've seen in this documentary, that the guy's wife, her whole life wanted to be a baker, so he invested all of his money and all this shit into like their bakery, and it was like subpar. They were doing enough, I guess.
It's not what he wanted.
Exactly. So he's just living this other person's life, and he's like, and finally he just realized, like, fuck this.
This
like,
is my chance.
Here's my chance, man. I'm never gonna get another opportunity to this again.
I'm gonna fly.
And that's what he did. Dude, what a fucking badass.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, to actually accomplish what you want.
Right. He wanted to be a pilot.
And he knew the end story would be
Death.
Most likely death.
Right. No, he was going to be death. He was going to be suicide
Right.
from out the gate. So, but what blows my mind is that he was able actually to do the full barrel roll. And there's some people, like, this story gets under people's skin for some reason. Like, when I looked this up on YouTube, there's thousands of videos of this guy.
Oh, sure.
But there's a lot of people that were like, been out of shape about it and like, oh, this guy could have fucking killed so-and-so. Like, dude, but he didn't.
But he didn't.
And he fucking did what he wanted to. And then there was a lot of conspiracy theorists on there, like, he hacked into the mainframe of the Matrix. And, like, I was like, at first, I was like, no, that's stupid. But then I started reading it more, and I was like, now, I don't believe that, but I can see how, if you're crazy enough, you would think, like, how did this guy fucking fly? You know how many hours it takes to beat?
Pretty good game, bro. Pretty good game.
He's a. So you're saying he's just a good gamer?
Maybe, man. I mean,
Did we lose the world's best pilot? Because he would no fucking experience. Can you imagine if he actually got the experience
right.
to do that? But then I think like
rolling,
a barrel rolling.
commercial airline.
It's fucking nuts, dude. It's the most. It's like one of the most amazing stories. I just couldn't believe it. Like, dude, this guy fucking did it.
It'd be like everybody's on the ride. This is the guy. We're gonna do a barrel roll.
Barrel roll. Right. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Right. We got the pilot that's gonna do a barrel roll. Dude, I don't know. When I actually watched like 3 or 4 different like short documentaries about the guy, and I was just like, this guy's my hero. Like, in the fact that he was so cool over the radio and like, hey, look, the truth is I don't want to be alive anymore. I'm not mad. I'm not sad. I'm not upset. And that's what a lot of people were saying, like, oh, this poor guy was just so sad and hurt. Like, no, he wasn't. He wasn't. Like, everything's got to be a giant fucking moral issue. Not everything's got to be this, you know.
He was done.
Done, dude.
He was done.
And it's crazy to think that like people just get away with fucking like, I don't know, like pegging people that's like off themselves as like these crazy loony fucking people. And it's like, that's not always the case. Dude, some people just don't want to fucking be here anymore. And like, and if you don't got kids and you don't got anything,
Seen that, done that.
Dude,
What's next?
right? Exactly. What's on the other side?
On to the next.
Right. And
if nothing's there, well,
it's been a fun ride.
I want to know.
I did a barrel roll.
I wouldn't fucking know.
I mean, that's how I looked at it. I never, at any point was I like, oh, this guy's kind of selfish. And in fact, I've never thought that. Like, even on like in my time as a first responder, anytime like there was a suicide, I always thought like,
well, you look at the guys that jump off of fucking like the Empire State Building, you know, back in the day when the first crash,
the stock market crashed. Yeah.
You know, I mean, those guys landed on people sometimes.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a totally different kind of suicide.
Right.
Yeah.
So you take somebody out, and this guy here, he's flying.
Mind his own business.
Yeah.
Doing his own thing.
Could have maybe killed some, but didn't.
But didn't.
And had no fucking reason to. But guys jumping off of buildings could always land on somebody.
Right.
You know?
Well, and I found out later that the Alaska Airlines, or wwhatever it was, the airline, it was actually had an insurance claim on the plane, so it was replaced for free.
Yeah.
So literally nothing happened.
Right.
Like other than like a few trees were burned down. It's fucking Washington. They're gonna grow back. There's trillions of them. But like, I don't know about trillions. But when just to get back to the topic of like, well, yeah, pretty much. But like suicide, and it's like I don't know. I always look at like, have you ever seen the documentary The Bridge? It's about the Golden Gate suicide rate.
Yeah, right. It's been a while.
Dude, it is mind-blowing. So people travel from all over the world to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge to kill themselves. Like, they won't even go to, like, the other bridges in the Bay Area. They want the Golden Bridge. And they won't even jump off the bridges they got to take to cross.
Right. I believe it's got fence and then barbed wire like
and
this.
Yeah, and tons of signs everywhere and suicide hotlines. But, like, man, if you've made that trip, and that's how I look at it. I'm not trying to be sick.
Yeah, if you're going to make that trip.
Even if you fly from another country, you're even here domestically, if you've made that trip, you've had all the time in the world to think about this, and this is something you still want to do, who am I? Who is anybody? You're not going to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Only yourself.
Sayonara.
I'll see you on the other side. It's your life.
Hey, fuck, for real, man.
You don't got. The only time that I kind of like I look down on that idea is like, you got kids, you got somebody who's dependent on you. Fucking, you're gonna ride this out just like me and everybody else. Fucking
right. And what kind of damage is that gonna bring to the next? Yeah, to the next generation.
And or don't do it like in front of people, because you don't know what you're gonna do to somebody. You're gonna damage them forever. You know, like Jump off that bridge. Do it at night. Whatever. Make sure no one's around. I don't know.
We're black,
Whatever. Yeah, like, dude, it doesn't fucking. Yeah. You're not gonna fucking.
Keep
But
your eyes closed.
I know that those are strange terms for suicide, and like not everybody's terms are on. I don't care.
Right,
like that's
right.
on you, but like
Right.
I don't know. But that documentary's pretty fucked up. I actually read an interview with one guy that survived it, and he survived the jump, and he was saved by the Navy, and they went and pulled him out of the water, broke every bone in his body. Literally every bone in his body, and he
Wished he was dead.
he was wishing he was dead for sure. But he said it was the worst experience. It was the scariest event of his whole entire life. He said as soon as he jumped off the bridge, he regretted it. But like,
Take me back.
never mind. I wish I wouldn't have done that. But like, that's part of the commitment.
Oh yeah.
You got to know. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know what you're about to do is going to have some ramifications.
How many people have jumped?
Oh, the numbers are
and be like,
fuck.
damn,
I shouldn't have done that.
dude.
Well, that's why you got all the time in the world to not do that.
Right.
That's why you got all the time in the world to think about what you're doing.
Well, I mean, come on, you're getting close to 40 now. Who that has made it to 40 hasn't thought of dying?
I think it's a completely natural thought process. Like I'm not even talking about depression or anxiety. None of that.
Sometimes you just
Like, dude, I'm tired of this shit.
it's like, is it better on the other side?
Dude, it's gotta be better on the other side. Dude, look at the powers that be out here. They get fucking 95% of the world's wealth, and then they distribute it down to like what the first world we get like 3% of it, and the rest of the world that gets like 1% of it. Like, dude, there's no way that this is what we were meant to do. Like, there's no way that this there's got to be another side on the other side, dude. I'm sure.
It's almost like we're trapped.
For real, and we're just
Trapped till death.
and then to think like it feels so current, right? Like our situation feels current right now. Like, oh, our generation
But
or
it's every.
but it's happened since the beginning of time,
yeah.
down to like the Egyptians forcing,
Well, they call it like an 80-year relapse. Like every 80 years, there's always a big.
something.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
We're
World
on the
War II, World War III.
We're on the
like
cusp of
within-
something happening. We just can't handle. We can't. It can't sustain itself. This world can't sustain itself in the condition it's going. And I don't fucking care. I don't fucking like people talking about like, oh, that's the Republicans' fault. It's Democrats' fault. It's immigrants. No, it's everybody's problem and it's everybody's fault. With that, we're at a minute and 30. So, is there anything else you wanted to say?
I gotta go pee.
I gotta go poo. All right, everybody. So we love you guys, and tune in next week. Talk to you guys later. Bye.